Welcome back to Dualsighted. We're back. Dennis Schroder, whatever you want to say. I mean, at this point, I don't think, he doesn't have enough money to call him by his real name. Psych. But, I mean, he fumbled the bag. Earlier this season, the Los Angeles Lakers offered Dennis Schroder a 4-year, $80+ million extension, which he turned down. Which, I mean, that's crazy. If I'm offered that on spot, regardless of I feel I'm worth more, I'm seriously considering it. But, I mean, that's for another time. But Schroder, no doubt, bet on himself. So, I mean, but unfortunately, for him and his wallet and his family and his future, his kids' college, I think he has enough for his kids' college for sure.
Definitely, but
but it didn't work out. I mean, the 27-year-old guard remains without a team after a little over a week into free agency, which most teams, already spent most of their money and what they already have. But I don't think there's no way. I mean, he just signed a $5.9 million contract, a 1 year with the Celtics, and he was reportedly pushing for a 2-year deal worth $9.5 million each, which is a full mid-level exception, which that's sad. I mean, he was en route to make $20 million a year. I mean, what do you at any point do you think that you should bet on yourself when you're offered $20 million a year? I mean, there's no way he's gonna, when playing with LeBron and AD, there's no way.
I mean, and you got to take other things to account. 4 years and $80 million, and living in LA, compared to what Boston and that contract does.
Which, I mean, there was reports that he's shocked, that he was just in shock, and he's still in shock, and he may have to see a therapist. That's just what I said, but I mean, he's in shock for sure. But an NBA reporter, Mark Stein, said on a podcast that Schroder viewed himself as a $100 million player, $100 million player, possibly is why, and definitely is why he turned down the $80+ million. But after a career best season in OKC in the 2019-2020 season, obviously in the bubble, Schroder was nowhere near that level with the Lakers, averaging, pretty good. But I mean, the expectations are higher when you're, with AD and play alongside AD and LeBron. But he finished the season with the Lakers at 15.4 points per game, 5.8 assists per game, and 3.5 rebounds per game, while shooting 43.7% from the field. So I mean, that's not bad, but I mean, alongside LeBron and AD,
and that's not worth $100 million. That's,
and plus his performance in the if he picked it up in the playoffs and they made it far, I mean, he was a no-show in the Sun series. Magic Johnson actually went at him, tweeting he's not a championship point guard, which I felt at the time was a little harsh, but I mean, I see it now. But his performance in the playoffs is why he didn't get that that more than $80+ million, which is just crazy. I don't think that anyone would think that you would get more than that unless you're LeBron or that those top players. But I mean, will this situation, this moment, live in the future NBA free agents' mind? That they before they turn it down.
If it's gonna affect anyone who's approaching, being approached with a reasonable contract.
I'm sure this has happened in all other organizations, but I mean, for this level of money.
I mean, the Celtics, it happened before with not the same type, but he bet on himself.
Yeah, but Isaiah got traded, so I mean, that you can't really say that he wasn't his choice to leave. He didn't turn anything down, but I mean, he could have played a higher level, and ironically, it was with LeBron, so he was en route to make a higher, super max contract. Isaiah Thomas was, and played with LeBron, and that went down. But I mean, he just scored 81 in some type of,
it's pro-am,
I think, and so hopefully he gets back into the league. But I mean, Dennis Schroder, 4-year, $80 million. I mean, that's crazy to turn that down. I mean, no matter what you say, even for a superstar to turn that down, that's I don't know. I think he's never gonna forget that. You think he slept, good last night?
I don't think he'll ever sleep.
Even if he makes that money or back, he still lost that chance, huh?
Yeah.
He still lost that year. Obviously, he signed 1 year, so he's got to pick it up this year.
I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be offered 4 years, $80 million.
I don't think about the 4 years, but I mean, maybe $20 million a year with the way the NBA cap is. I mean, maybe, but he's got to pick it up with the Celtics. So, hopefully he does. Obviously, we want the players to get paid, and hopefully that works out, in his favor. But once again, you guys are watching Dualsighted. Follow us on Dualsighted down below, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Comment down below your thoughts if you would take this offer from the the get go, or you would turn it down and bet on yourself. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.